3, 2, 1.
Did you say you keep your tortoise warm?
I recycle that heat.
Yes! I hope people in the audience are hearing that those who find Bitcoin and stick with it end up living incredible lives.
Since I volunteered to be on the show with you guys, I have had a major development in that I actually now work in Bitcoin. I was approached by and hired by.
Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So, if you are brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stuart.
And I'm your co-host, Anna Bevan. And with us today in the virtual studio, we have number 136, Joe. And I'm so excited to hear his story. And so we're just going to turn it over to Joe to start.
Well, I'll let everybody know how Joe and I know each other.
Oh, that's a good place to start.
We're both in the Bitcoin Well affiliates Telegram. So when you're in the business of getting people to an exchange that, in my opinion, is doing things like fastidiously, I think might be a big old
that's a nice word to use.
English word from Latin and Greek roots. I don't like to use them often, Joe. I prefer like short, powerful English words from Old Norse and Germanic roots, but
thing especially.
Thing is my favorite word in the English language, but I would say they're doing things, yes, fastidiously, and they're focusing on teaching everyone about how to take Bitcoin into self-custody, which is not an easy thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. Anyways, when you're in that business, you join this rarefied air of their Telegram with Conrad, who's number, is he 75?
Oh.
And Adam is number 103, actually. So now you are joining the ranks of the Bitcoin Well gentlemen here on Sat Chat. So Joe, help our Satillionaires get to know you a little bit as a first step.
Right on. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, that's a good alumnus to join with the guys from Bitcoin Well. They're great guys. So I really do appreciate that. Name's Joe Spencer. Online, I go by Cinco Doggos. I've got 5 dogs. I've worked with dogs a lot through my life. After I got out of the military, it was kind of my thing. But jumping into just kind of my Bitcoin story, and feel free to cut me off or jump in because I do like to rattle on. So I was one of those guys back in 2013 that I had a friend who said, "Hey, you've got to check this out." We were both electronics and communications guys in the Navy. We were both on submarines. And he was like, "Hey, you got to check this cool thing out. It's a way to make this cool, this new digital money. It's right up your alley. You love tech." And he lived here in Houston by me, and he gave me this little USB thing to plug in my computer. He's like, "Just plug it in, and I'll tell you how to set it up and make money." And trying to set up my wallet for the first time, I kind of did it. I wrote down these stupid seed phrases that he told me about. I was like, "What the heck is this? It's made up words." And I let it run for like a week. I didn't see anything happening. I didn't know what was going on because it was all like just text prompts on my computer screen back then. That was before we had like ASIC miners and stuff, You just plug this little dongle into your computer and away it went. And I said, "You know what, this is stupid." And I took the USB stick out and I threw it in a box. And that was it. I'm telling you guys, I'm one of those people like the guy with the landfill in England. I guarantee you, I probably got a USB floating around my garage right now with probably like 10 Bitcoin on it, and I can't find it. I'm probably one of those. I'm one of those idiots. I'm telling you right now, that's probably me. Every time my wife hears that,
you're saying that you might have a USB stick somewhere in your garage right now with 10 Bitcoin on it.
Good,
and you just don't know where it is.
I just don't know where it is, and I've got so much like old tech out there, and like I go through it once in a while trying to clean out the garage, but like a garage clean out, a full clean out. It's probably not going to happen until like I actually like we move. So,
I would
but it's one of those
cleaning that garage.
Well,
right.
Here's what I'm thinking, Joe, because sat chats, once we reach the level of success that we are envisioning for ourselves, I would like to go to that junkyard in England and basically hire so many people that we all only have to search like 1 square inch, and like in a single day surface that fabled hard drive, make an absolutely killer YouTube video out of it for our channel. And I'm thinking a dry run might be for the current team that we have today, because we're not that big, but we are mighty, to fly down to Houston, right? Because I've got family in Dallas. I could make something happen. And then, you and me and a Bevan, Reggie, we basically just set up a camera and then we go scour your garage for this 10 Bitcoin. Okay.
Man, I'll take a free garage cleaning.
Exactly. Well, we would be doing it for a percentage of whatever's on that dang stick.
You're right. Finder's fees.
Value for value over here, Joe. Value for
Right.
value.
But I'll bring the label maker.
But man,
There we
that's
go.
wild. That is wild. What a fun project and a fun video that would be to look for number 136's lost USB stick. So
Right.
anyways, not to derail you too badly there.
No, it's true.
I love that you said this is stupid and you unplugged
Yeah.
it. Oh.
I did. I didn't get it, guys. I didn't get it. It was so above my head. I'll say like my ADHD must have been kicking in, and I was like, and I went back to playing EVE Online or World of Warcraft or whatever I was doing, right? And that got chucked. And so that's obviously something that's like a one of those moments where you smack yourself in the head looking backwards, right? When you learn about the things you've done in your life and you get introspective. So fast forward to like 2 years ago. And then through that whole time, I was just, at that time, I was running a business. It was my focus. It was just about my whole focus. I had a daughter who's now in college, but she was, teenager at the time. So like, we were focused on life. And I really other than making sure the business survived, I wasn't putting money in a 401k anymore. I wasn't doing that. I was trying to make ends meet every single day, make sure my employees were paid, make sure, the house was okay, everything I could do to just make ends meet. So that was my typical, the churn for that whole period between like 2013 and about 2 years ago. So for 10 years. And about 2 years ago, I read something on a post somewhere. I don't even recall what it was, but it was something like, hey, Bitcoin. And I was like, man, I used to look into that. And let me go ahead and take a look. My buddy since then, he lives in like Acapulco. He's a Bitcoin millionaire. He has done really well for himself. And I was like, did I miss the boat on something? So again, being introspective and trying to, as I get into my mid and late 40s, I'm like, what kind of stupid things did I do that I can correct? I looked into it again. And nowadays, there's so much information out there about Bitcoin for a beginner or somebody coming back in who tried years ago. It's virtually impossible to mess it up if you know where to look and you find where to look. Otherwise, it can still be complicated. But, I started just reading what other people were saying, looking around on X and just kind of following people and getting more to learning more about it, watch some YouTube videos. And I said, okay, I did what, a lot of people do. I went on at that time. I said, okay, I went on Robinhood and I bought $50 worth of Bitcoin. I just bought $50 when I realized like, okay, you don't have to buy a whole one for, at that time, it was like, whatever, $65,000. I was like, I can just buy $50 worth. So I did. And of course, like you said, that's kind of a hook, right? At that point, I got it and I'm watching the number go up. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I started looking deeper and I started looking deeper. And then I said, no, how can I do this without sitting here playing the market constantly? Because I hate to do that. That's just not my thing. I looked into dollar cost averaging, DCA. So I did that. Okay, I'll do $20 a week. Did that for a couple months, number go up. And I was like, okay, this is cool. How could I do more? That's when I found out about mining. And honestly, the thing that got me into it was bid axes. So I had noticed that there's some local guys down here in Houston, Satoshi, and they sold these devices for like, at the time it was like $160, and it said like you can hit a block 3.125 Bitcoin plus the fees for the transactions. And I was looking at that and I was like, man, that's not a bad chunk of change. I could pay my house off with that if I got that. So I picked one up, I put it on the shelf, and I was like, that's cool. And I'm looking this way because I have my bid axes over there. And I let it do its thing. I set the wallet up, I figured it out. It wasn't too hard, and I let it go. Well, my curiosity, of course, started going. I love electronics. And I was like, these little devices are pretty simple. all in all. And I bet I can build one. So I started messing around with it and I started looking deeper and looking deeper. And then I went on eBay and I found a Canon 1037 or 1047 that mined, instead of doing like 1.2 terahash per second, it did like 30. And I was like, oh, okay. You get that for $200. So I did that and I stuck it in my garage. That thing's as loud as a darn airplane. So I keep it in my garage, and the last thing we need in Houston, guys, is more heat. And that thing pumps out heat like anything. Okay. I mean, those suckers get hot, those big devices. And, I was watching my electric bill go up too, but I was like, okay, but what can I do with this? And I just kind of started looking into mining pools. I started looking into, what's the difference between solo and pool mining? What's the difference between stacking sats and lottery? And I just got sucked into it. And now from then to there, I have kind of doing like a fast forward jump. I've gone from like, okay, I got this little device on my shelf to I teach weekly mining classes on X for the Bitcoin Army. It's one of the largest Bitcoin communities on X, got about 8,000 members. And I teach every Wednesday night. I teach midweek mining. So we go over different mining pools. We go over how to maintain your miners, how a person who's brand new and lives in an apartment can still mine, even though they don't have like a garage or a facility or whatever. They can still mine and still get in on this. I do things with Bitcoin well, try to get people to find good ways to put Satoshis away safely in a cold wallet. So that way their funds are protected as best as you can, not sitting on an exchange. And I've done some YouTube interviews with like Mark Artemko from Ocean Mining. Love Mark, great guy. I mean, the guys over at Ocean Mining, love those guys. And actually, since I'm sorry, my hand's like right in the camera there. Since I volunteered to be on the show with you guys, I have had a major development in that I actually now work in Bitcoin. I was approached by and hired by a large mining pool, and I am their North America representative, and I kind of handle their conferences here. I'll be going to like Bitcoin conferences, Mining Disrupt, all that on their behalf to man their booth. And I handle their social media for what little social media skills I have. I write articles for them, and basically I just help control their North American operations with their customers for via BTC, the third largest mining pool in the world.
That's wild.
So
that's wild.
That's my story in a nutshell, man. I went from not even a dumb pleb to now I'm still just a dumb pleb, but I work in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So when did you start your curiosity about Bitcoin? Like, what's that time frame?
About 2 years ago. I would say that's when it really hit. The first, 10 years ago when I looked at it back in 2013, I didn't even really know what I was doing. So I'm not even going to count that because that wasn't fair. That was like a false start. That was a whiff. Okay. Swing and a miss. But 2 years ago is when I started saying, okay, let me try it out. And then that snowballed. And that was just watching number go up was what really got me with that. And then since then I've learned that number go up really means nothing to me as a miner, because that's my primary thing as a miner. Number go up, number go down, I don't care, as long as sats keep coming in through my miners. Now that's all I really worry about.
So let's
it kind of took that stress out of it for me.
Let's march through that here.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to have a moment of silence for your friend who got it much earlier than the rest of us and is now living in Acapulco in Mexico. Here, let's just have a moment of silence for him.
Yep.
Yes! I hope people in the audience are hearing that those who find Bitcoin and stick with it end up living incredible lives. I mean, number 16 Miles found Bitcoin so early. I think he was buying it when it was 6 cents per Bitcoin. And he also mined it with his old Mac. And he would set it to mining Bitcoin. And he would come back in the morning and it would have solved a block. And with 50 Bitcoin attached as a reward. 50. And after we got done taping his episode, Joe, he said, okay, guys, that was great. I'm literally hopping in the U-Haul truck right after this. I've built myself a private compound in Mexico, and I'll see you later for the 9-month Bitcoin baby update. You're like, dude, Bitcoin.
That's awesome.
Bitcoin, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
you have gone down the rabbit hole very quickly to have found Bitcoin 2 years ago and have gone this far. And I would argue, I found Bitcoin I found it for real January 2024. I heard about it earlier in time, but same deal as you. It didn't register, but I would argue I've been trying to go down the rabbit hole as quickly as possible too, because it's fascinating. But one area that I think you've explored more than I have, and that you can shine some light onto for our Satillionaires, is Bitcoin mining. Because when someone today comes into Bitcoin, typically the most we can hope for is that they'll start stacking sats. They're going to dollar cost average $50 a month, maybe even $50 a week if they can manage it. And even when I looked into this last summer, mining seemed too expensive for me to get the approval of my wife to get started. Like $3,000 to $5,000 for a miner to be set up somewhere in Paraguay, and I don't know how long it would take for the Satoshis to trickle through and pay back the cost of the miner itself. Would the miner get outdated before it had even made enough Satoshis? I did find the BitAxe eventually, and I have a BitAxe in my laundry room, and I freaking love that little guy. And I'm hoping to meet the creator of the BitAxe in November at a local conference here in Raleigh, Durham. So anyways, it sounds like, number one, you have more than one BitAxe in your house. And I kind of want to start there because I think a lot of people who get far enough down the rabbit hole to dollar cost average into Bitcoin each week or each month might be, like I am, willing to spend $200 to $300 on what is effectively a lottery ticket, right? Like, if you're going to try to put that mining rig into a solo pool, as it's called, where it's just you trying to solve the block, I'm hoping that I'll wake up one day to 3.125 Bitcoin thanks to my little BitAxe. So tell me a little bit more about your experience with the BitAxe and what you would recommend a beginner do to get themselves one of these up and running.
Sure, and you are spot on with the speed bumps and hurdles that most people encounter when it comes to Bitcoin mining. Okay, cost prohibitive. Okay, and that is very daunting. Space in your home, the loud noise that a big Bitcoin miner, a big boy, will make. That is right there. I mean, you're talking 90 decibels on some of those things. That's like a dryer and a half going right next to your head. So there are these things, heat generation, right? So and electric costs. That's something you can never pay off the electric company. You're always going to have that electric bill. So there are some things that you must take into consideration for your particular situation. Now, the great thing about the BitAxe, like you said, it's like a lottery ticket, right? My wife, Eileen, love her to death. She loves to play the lottery, right? The big Texas Powerball, she loves it because that's you hit that and you're good, right? So when I explained to her, like with these BitAxes, you're trying every 10 minutes to win that lottery. But 24/7, 365, you've got a lottery ticket. So if you were to do that with an actual lottery ticket, if you do play the lottery, that's your thing. Well, in a day, what you would spend on your lottery tickets, you've already paid off your BitAxe because they're about $100 now, US. So I mean, to get that same level, if the lottery was being played every 10 minutes, 24/7, then I mean it's cost effective instead of dumping it on a piece of paper that you're going to have to share with the state when you hit it. So that's kind of my thing with that. So that's always something I say, and we have a saying, a lot of us plebs, a miner in every home. Okay, meaning that it really should, if you're into Bitcoin, everyone should at least look into getting a BitAxe. They're small. They don't take up a lot of power. It's like a light bulb's worth of power a month. Okay, the noise is very quiet. You can put it somewhere as long as it's not right next to where you're making your phone calls.
Yeah.
It would sound like a desk fan if you did. But other than that, and then there's things we do. We could put different types of fans on them, like Noctuas that are near silent. But anyway, that's a completely different topic when you mod them. But you can get these suckers for about $100 US. And then it's just playing the lottery for you constantly. You hook it up to a solo pool and you let it run. And now we have seen, especially after just about 4 or 5 days ago, we now have 4 small devices that have guaranteed, we have verified, have hit a solo block. Okay.
Wow.
4 or 5 days ago, a guy with an Octax plus plus, which is just, it's like a $350 version of a BitX. It's bigger, it's a little more powerful, and they're a little bit more louder, but it's like the newest generation of those small home miners. He hit a block with one. He confirmed it. The guy that did it, he
Wow.
confirmed it with the guys at Solo Satoshi. He said, I bought this from you guys. And yes, this is the device that hit the block. So it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen.
So,
How
So
about
that's
that?
yeah.
that's the faith you got to have.
How many bit axes do you have?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I've got,
Wow.
I'm looking over at my shelf right now. I've got
love it.
7-bit, I got 7-bit X gammas, and they hit about 1.4 terahash per second. Okay. Then I have a what's called a white paper Supra from the guys at Xtech. It's just a white BitX. It's an older version of a BitX that goes at for about half a terahash per second, and it's got a metal copy of the white paper behind it, Satoshi's white paper. So that looks cool on a desk. Okay, so we got that. I've got 2 of the Octas, the BitX Octas, the ones that just recently hit. And then I have I have a Canon Nano 3S, which is like a 3 terahash. Those go for about, I think, $300 ish online. And that's a nice sleek unit. It's plastic case. It looks good on a shelf. It's not ugly. It's a good little room space heater. I have that in my wife's office right now, and that hashes for us in there. And then I've got a couple big boys in the garage, and then I have some miners hosted at a facility out of state because Texas is just too hot to host the big boys.
So let me.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot.
Yeah. So okay, I got a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start selfishly here. My BitX looks like it averages around 600 G/H. What in the world does that mean?
So good question. That's the power of it. Okay. And that's how many, for lack of a better term, that's how many math computations it is doing per second. Okay. To solve a block with the SHA-256 code that is used for Bitcoin encryption, you have to solve so many, you have to find the whatever the hidden number is. So if you think of the block is basically hiding out there and it is saying, okay, everyone in the world who's mining, I'm thinking of a number between 0 and, n to the 256th power. Tell me what that number is. And then all these devices start guessing. Nope, 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 nope. And then when somebody gets it right, it says, bingo, you're it. You win the block. You get the 3.125 subsidy as well as the block fees that were in that for transferring all the transactions that were in there. Okay. So it started out back in the day with mega, right? So like you've got mega, giga, tera when you've got your computer memory, right? So most people are familiar with those. They're pretty common parlance nowadays. So nobody really uses mega anymore ever since these little ASIC chips, these chips that were designed to just function within the Bitcoin chain. Okay. Megas aren't going to hit anything. They're just not powerful enough anymore. Gigas, you still can. Okay, there's still a possibility of it, but they're obviously you're exponentially bigger than the megas. Teras are what most people have nowadays on a device, a terahash and up. Then when you start stacking that above that, you have petahashes, which is 1,000 terahashes. And then above that, we just finally hit on the global hash rate. That's all the devices in the entire earth that are running Bitcoin miners. We finally surpassed 1 zettahash. It was 1,000 petahash, which is like, that's more computing power than Google uses daily for everybody in the world using Google to ask questions and do things.
Yeah.
So just putting that into perspective.
Yeah.
So when my BitX is saying 600 gigahash, if I hit 1,000 gigahash, that would be 1 terahash.
Yes, sir.
And then if I hit 1,000 terahash, that would be 1 petahash.
Correct.
What about I've heard the term exahash as well.
I'm sorry, I skipped one. You're right. I apologize. Yes, exahash is. I can't believe I skipped exahash. petahash, exahash, zettahash. So 1,000
Zettahash.
exahash. Yes, you just corrected me. Thank you for that. I don't know
Okay.
why I skipped
Okay.
exahash. We've been living in the exahash world for a couple of years now. So yeah.
So basically, there's a ton of computing power behind Bitcoin mining.
Mhm.
Now that you've helped me understand that, because I'm like, it's my bit, my BitAxe is like an electric scooter competing with F1 racers, but it is literally possible that I could somehow win one block, and I can't wait until I do. Now, do you have all of your devices? My understanding is that, like, if I were to get let's say I go get a second BitAxe, and it's a newer model, maybe it gets me to 1.4 terahash, and my understanding is there's a way to take those two miners and join them together in my solo pool so that my 600 gigahash combines with the 1.4 terahash, and now I've got 2 terahash to my name. Are yours all linked together into a pool for yourself? Are some in, do you have some miners that are in these kind of solo pool lottery mode, and some that are in a mining pool like Ocean or via BTC, where you're not gonna you're gonna hit blocks more often, but you're just gonna get a couple of satoshis per? What's your strategy there?
Fantastic question. So I do two different versions of mining with my devices. My BitAxe is my small boys, as I call them, things under 100 terahash. My small boys I have through Ocean. Ocean has a cool thing you can do called datum. Okay, I say datum because I'm a Yankee from New Jersey. They call it datum. But it's this cool program that basically what it does is it allows you on your own node. Okay. And I have an Umbrel node that I run with my stuff on it, my own Bitcoin node. And I have it connected through Datum, where I design my own blocks. So it builds a block for me to mine on with my small boys. And I do that as my own solo pool. So it's all just my devices. I am not contributing to the main pool at Ocean, where they share the pool, the hash rate, and then they dish out the winnings to everybody on a proportional scale. This is just for me. If I hit it, it all comes to me. So a form of lottery mining, but yes, I pool them all together. Is it a little more technical than just dropping your BitAxe on like solo pool or CK pool or something? It's a little bit more, but I got to tell you, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I'm a moron. So the fact that I was able to watch like 2 YouTube videos and set up Datum and tinker around with it, and I got it working without a problem. It worked so easy and so fast. I thought I did something wrong. And then I had the guys over at Ocean look at it for me, Leo Half and the guys over there, and they said, "No, you're doing it right." So I was like, "All right, cool." But yeah, so I have that. So that's my solo pool. That's the, hey, Joe wants to get his own 3.125 Bitcoin in his pocket, in his wallet, and not share that. That's that. Then for my big boys, I do have those in the Via BTC pool because I want a share of their blocks. Via hits like between 14 and 22 blocks a day because they're the third largest pool in the world, public pool in the world. So I mean, they hit a lot of blocks, and that's what helps me pay the bills for my electricity. I don't just stack and hold. I do spend and use some Bitcoin. Okay. But when I do, it is on like my electric bills, upgrading or replacing and repairing miners. So to me, I'm reinvesting it in Bitcoin when I do it. I keep that economy circular. So yes, I do both. And I do like, I get about, I get every 100,000 Satoshis is when via BTC will drop it into my wallet for me that I accumulate. And I can watch that right on my little app, and I see how much I'm making each day. And, I just watch that roll in, and it hits 100,000, it dumps it to my wallet. Boom. At current prices, I made like $111 US dollars in that sense. And then, I'll take half and I put that in cold storage. And the other half is, toward electric bills or, hosting fees or whatever I need it for.
How often do those 100K sats come through for you? Like, how many sats per day on average do you think you're making with the big boys in your garage?
So for what I have currently, between what I have hosted and what I have in my garage, it's about every 6 to 8 days, depending on how we're doing. I get a money dump in there.
Dude.
So yeah, I'm not a huge miner. You know what I mean? I still consider myself a home miner, but about so like 2 to 3 times a month. Yeah, I'd say more like 3 times a month. I get so I'm making about 300,000 Satoshis a month. My mine.
Yeah, I mean that's that's 3.6 million sats in a year.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
about right. Yeah.
0.036 Bitcoin, right?
Mhm.
So that's freaking dope. I mean, personally, I love the idea of plugging in a machine and making money. I mean, it's like the deep.
Of course.
We had, the guest directly before you, which is wild, was Kent from SAS Mining.
Cool.
And he talked about how he views this as a decentralized money printer. Like miners are decentralized money printers, and you're printing 100,000 sats a week or so. That's and we haven't talked about the ones that you have offsite somewhere, which are conceivably even more powerful, noisier, and hotter than the ones in your garage.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
So
Yeah.
of all
As
the
an
ones, of all the ones you have, what would you suggest? Like, if you're like, hey, I would like to have something that's maybe a little bit more than a bit axe, or
Okay.
Not enough to make it sound like there's an airplane inside my house.
correct.
Right.
It makes it super hot.
Yeah.
Right.
What
So,
would
and
be
that's
a happy
always,
middle ground?
that's that trade-off. So there's a couple different ways you can go with that. I would say if you're like in an apartment or you're in a place that you would think would be a little more noise sensitive, you don't have a garage, something like that, right? Where you got to be careful about your heat generation and your noise. I would say your best bet at this time, if you don't want to, actually, go full hog and like purchase a big boy miner and put it, in like somewhere like SAS Mining, Terra Hosting, Iowa Mining, where they'll host it for you and just send you the bill for the hosting, and then you still get your sats every payout, no problem. I would say if you want to self-host it, then probably at this time the best thing you can do cost effectively would be like an Avalon Q. They're going to run you over $1,000 though. Okay. But that could be used as a small home heater, and they're super quiet. Canon devices are known for being super quiet for the most part. If you're even more noise sensitive than that, I'd say the Octax Q++. And right now, I think the main guys selling those are like Solo Satoshi, and then there's a guy on X named Co Satoshi, CO Satoshi, that sell them as well. Those would probably be your best bets. Because they're quiet and they're small, you could stick it on a shelf, and that's like, I think they're like 4 terahash or just about 4 terahash, but that's still kind of in the lottery mining stage, right? If you're looking to do a little more than that, maybe you do have a garage, or you have like a as we call it down here in Texas, a mud room, somewhere that you can put it to the side, but you don't want to generate too much heat and too much noise. You can get like a Bitmain S19, which you can get a kit from these guys at Altair Technologies, and they call it a Slim 19 kit. And basically, it converts the power board. You can do it yourself. There's a 5-minute video on how to do it. You convert the power board for the S19. You take the old one out, you put the new one in. You can plug it into a regular plug. You don't need to use like your dryer plug in your house. You can plug it right into a regular socket. It will run it in a special low power mode, right at about 70 terahash, 65 to 70 terahash. It won't pump out too much noise, and it still will pump out some heat, but it's not gonna light your house on fire type of thing. And that would be a way to go. And you can get an S19 used on eBay. Like I pick them up between like $300 and $450.
Wow.
So
Dude,
yeah.
There's like this whole big world of Bitcoin mining that is still completely unexplored by me.
I mean, I would agree that same with me. Just whatever you're exploring, I'm exploring.
Yeah. It's like in Bitcoin, I think a lot of us we're just in the, hey, we're gonna buy Bitcoin with our fiat, and the length that you've gone, you've gone deep enough to say, hey, I'm going to make some Bitcoin, like for if this is the wild west, and I'm down in the saloon and I'm trying to exchange some of my bullets and horse apparel for gold coins, you're actually up in the hills panning for it. Like I'm trying to exchange things I have for those gold coins. You're straight panning for gold in the hills. And it's so cool because if you find some, that's it, man. You found some. It's
Mhm.
yours. And that's
Right.
huge. That's huge. Um, so you also mentioned this idea that mining Bitcoin separated you from the ups and downs of Bitcoin. And if I can just be the person I want to be right now, I'll kind of put air quotes around the perceived volatility of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not volatile. It's
Right.
the money you're attempting to exchange for Bitcoin that's going up and down. My thought process was that settling into a weekly routine of automatically converting some of my dollars into Bitcoin through Bitcoin Well
Mhm.
would divorce me from the ups and downs of Bitcoin, and it has. But it
Mhm.
sounds like you're saying that Bitcoin mining is how you really dislocate yourself from that. What do you mean?
Well, that's a good topic. So I found when I was, and DCAing is great. I 100% believe in dollar cost averaging, people putting money away, buying it off the exchanges, bringing it to your cold wallet and getting it, keep that coin hidden for yourself for when you need it. Totally think that's great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I am a person that if I love metrics, I love numbers. Okay. So if I see a number go up and down, up and down, up and down, I start trying to game the system. Right. And then when that happens, my ADHD kicks in, and then I'll start trying to game the system. What can I do to, get an edge on this or whatever? And that would, of course, kind of stress me out a little bit. All right. So what I have found is through mining, I have this steady, especially my pool mining, I have this steady income that is hitting my cold wallet. It's always going there. It's nice and regular. I can predict it. And when a number goes up or down on the markets, it helped me realize it really doesn't matter to me what the fiat does in that sense, because it's not going to affect my cold wallet, because I'm not looking to do anything with that anytime soon. My time preference has really changed on that. So I don't stress too much about it. I just let it get in there because I know it's going to be there. I don't have to worry about if I have a car, my car breaks down and I need to use some money to do it. Back before, that was very stressful. Now I'm not saying like I've made it, guys. Don't take it that way. Just like everybody else, we still got our day jobs. We got to make money, right? We still got to pay bills. A mortgage, I can't pay my mortgage directly with Bitcoin yet, right? But I like to know that I have something socked away that is not going to be eroded by inflation or what's going on in tweets from politicians or international agreements being broken or made. It's going to be there, and when I need it, it's there, and that has really helped with my stress levels when it comes to my finance. It took that out of it. The Bitcoin's going in there. What did it cost me to make it at this point? Because my return on investment on paying off my machines, I'm past that ROI mark because I buy used machines, so it's quicker. I just have to worry about, did I stack more than my electric bill? And as long as I did, I'm in profit no matter what Bitcoin does on the fiat markets. So yeah, it really has helped my stress levels with that. Really has helped it.
Mm.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah. It really is interesting to think about. Like, I guess did you just like record the purchase price of the miner and then keep track of how many satoshis have come in, and then
Mhm.
and then you're able to know when the miner has basically paid for itself, and then you're just kind of free and clear past that point.
Yep, and I just did a profit and loss sheet in an Excel spreadsheet, just like I would do with my when I ran my business. I just had a profit and loss sheet, so I knew approximately like, okay, I'm going to need on this pool, I'm going to need this many weeks of profit from this miner. Get my electric bill taken out of that, and then this is what it is, right? Because that always will, make sure I got to have that in there because the electric bill you have to account for it to account for it. So once I did that, I knew like, okay, it's about 6 months to run this for 6 months. Then the unit is paid for. It'll be in profit for itself over electricity. And this is how much I'm making after electricity per unit per terahash in this pool. And that's kind of how I run that. And I just keep a sheet of that. And if there's something that starts not making money, my S9s, they're an older version of a Bitmain miner, an amp miner. They usually do right around 12 to 14 terahash, but they suck up just as much power as an S19 does. I won't run them uh, anymore unless it's like super cold out. And then I have a sulcata tortoise that lives in my backyard. She's about 75 pounds. We've got our own shed. So in the winter, I'll go ahead for those 3 days here in Texas when we've got some cold weather. I'll put an S9 in her hut, her little hut, and I run it in low power mode, and it keeps it right at about 75 degrees for her. And to me, that's instead of paying for an electric heater, it's doing it and it's giving me some satoshis on the side. So, yes.
Did you say you keep your tortoise warm?
I recycle that heat.
You got a big tortoise out back
Mhm.
who sometimes needs heat during the winter. And that's when you pull out the inefficient miner.
Yep.
And hey, here's what's, I mean, I heard last year about a company that was basically trying to make a kind of like a wall-mounted space heater that mines Bitcoin for Europe, because in Europe they still have, they don't necessarily have central heating in some of those buildings, but many of them have those older style radiator kind of coils or whatever. And instead they're like, look, we can basically mount this. It would look just like the newer space heaters that they have in Europe. It's just that it's getting hot by mining Bitcoin, which is insane. And if you think about all the mining rigs across Europe in the form of space heaters and all the bit axes across America, then eventually there's a significant amount of mining power that is truly decentralized in every single person's homes. And then that just makes the network stronger. So,
well, do you remember there's a guy in the Raleigh Bitcoin meetup that we go to sometimes that he is in woodworking, and he puts his wood in the shed where his miner is to dry it out faster.
Oh, wow.
And so he's able to produce more because the time of drying out the wood is a fraction of what it would be if it was just sitting there.
That's crazy.
Not in the heat of the miner.
Yeah.
There's a whole like sub community called heat punking that does that. I mean, I've made biltong, which is a South African version of beef jerky, with an S19 in my garage. Like, I mean, yeah, it's called heat punking. There's some really cool guys out there that do it, and there's businesses that are popping up that they'll come into your home. They will attach miners in your, to your central heating system, so that way you can heat your home with your Bitcoin miners and, cut your costs down. You recycle that heat. Narvik, Norway right now is working on heating the whole town with a large AI data facility that they're just reusing the heat from this AI facility that's built into the side of a mountain. I mean, there's these really innovative, cool people out there that are doing cool things with that waste heat from miners.
Like that is cool.
That is wild.
That is so cool. Like, I'm like, how can I get in on that?
Yeah.
Right.
Because yesterday, with Kent, one of the lasting things that he said that really stuck with me is that energy is a use it or lose it. And so ways for us to reuse energy in ways, I don't know, that we need or we haven't really thought of. I love when people come up with wild and crazy solutions that I would have never thought about.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Because we guys like Mao and Sean have helped us see, hey, if you're going to spend fiat, first take the fiat, buy some Bitcoin, then collateralize the Bitcoin to get the fiat, and then spend the fiat.
Yeah.
And with Joe and with some of these heat punkers, my thought process is like, okay, if you're going to generate heat, instead of plugging in a space heater and generating the heat, plug in a miner, take a chance at Bitcoin, and then get the heat. So it's like you're like more efficiently using whatever you're trying to use by getting Bitcoin rolling in the middle there. It's the best.
Yep.
So Joe, it is clear that there is more to Bitcoin mining industrial and personal than we will ever fit into a single chat about sats. So we do ask each of our guests if they would be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby. Would you be willing to do that for us?
Absolutely. And that's going to be a good time frame because I know there's big things coming for my personal mining and in Bitcoin this coming year. So that would be a great time to touch base again. Yeah, that's going to be a great time. I absolutely would love to come back.
Let's do that. And
Oh,
I look forward to diving even more deeply into the Bitcoin mining rabbit hole. Plus, we'll have an update for all our Satillionaires on how we flew to Houston, we found the USB stick, and now an entire 5 Bitcoin is Joe's, and then there's a 5 Bitcoin that now belongs to Sat Chats. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
man.
I'd do it.
Nice, easy
I'd split it.
50-50. He would split it.
Yeah.
I'd split it. I would. 100% I
We have
would.
it on
Absolutely.
record.
It's been
Mhm.
documented. He would split it. All right.
Excellent.
Let's
split
absolutely
it.
go.
We'll all get
All
pictures wearing top hats and stuff afterwards. We'll have that, like the meme. We'll all be.
Exactly. All right. So we will now turn it over to Ithaca Hummus.
Ithaca Hummus, our sponsor, which reminds us to
Buy the dip. Yeah.
Today we are tasting lemon beet, which this is, chop this in half. My favorite flavor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is my absolute favorite flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you learn something new every day. Joe, you say that you guys are big fans of Ithaca Hummus. What's your favorite flavor?
Olive oil and garlic, I think it is. It's the olive oil one. It's got the nice olive colored label. Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's
We've
the
got 2
Graza.
containers of it
Graza?
right now.
Yeah,
Graza. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Salt?
Mhm.
Olive
Yeah,
oil
that's
and
it.
salt.
Oh,
Yeah.
So good.
That's
So good.
Bridget's favorite.
So good. So
Mhm.
good. And you say you got 2 big tubs in the fridge right now.
2 big tubs of it. Yep. And we use like those little pretzel chips is what we dip it in.
Yeah.
Like we used to dip it with. Oh,
yes,
so
yeah.
good.
those are good.
Freaking
Yeah,
tasty.
we're a woven wheat group here.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Cheers.
So good.
That's awesome. I love it.
I don't think Stuart likes this one as much as I do.
I do. I love beets. I
Yeah.
love beets, and every batch is unique since they use
Fresh
real
ingredients.
food each
Yeah.
time. Maybe the coldness
Yeah.
was getting in the way of the beet flavor. I
Yeah.
might let this sucker come up to room temp so that I can get the beet flavor straight away. Now my taste buds are barely functional, so I'm not a great
We'll take that with a grain of salt.
right.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Thank you so much for coming on Sat Chats, and we believe in value for value. So in exchange for your time of coming on our show, we'd like to give you the choice between an offer of $50 in fiat or $50 in Bitcoin, which at today's exchange rate is 43,200 Satoshis. What would you like to choose?
I would like to, I appreciate that. And I'd like the Bitcoin. And just so you guys know, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to make that a giveaway on my X channel. So I'm going to pay it forward.
Yeah, let's go.
Tag
Let's
us in that
go.
for sure.
Yeah,
Will
tag
do.
us up.
Absolutely.
Tag
Yeah.
us up. Add it to your 100K hallowed even giveaway.
There you go. You
And
saw
make
that.
it-
Yeah,
Make it 143,200. Okay.
absolutely will.
Yeah.
I'll update that today.
Just like the Ithaca Hummus X Graza collab, we gotta do a Cinco Dagos X Sat Chats hallowed even giveaway.
Yeah.
There we go.
Absolutely
I'll put that
rip,
up there.
right?
Okay.
100%.
And that way we can boost your giveaway. Also, I need your help getting, because are you part of that Bitcoin army on Twitter or
Mhm.
no? You are.
I am. Mhm.
I need all 8,000 members to subscribe to Sat Chats so that we can just hit 10,000 overnight and be able to finally give away 2 million sats. I've been trying to
Right.
give away 2 million sats for a while now.
Yeah, months at least.
And I'm ready. All I want to do is give away all the Satoshis that I have to people around the earth. That's it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. I feel you.
So I need your help. Letting the Bitcoin army know that I will serve as a herald to them on horseback, right? And ride out ahead with the Bitcoin Army standard, you know what I mean, in the little holder on the horse, because they got little holders on the. I'll tie the Bitcoin Army's favor on the tip of my lance and ride off like a herald to the pre-coiners of the world and say, look, there are 8,000 Bitcoiners that are a day's march behind me, and they are about to help you understand why you need to start stacking and mining sats today.
Heck yeah, winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Printer is coming.
Printer is coming. There you go.
Printer is coming, right? So I need your help getting the entirety of the army to basically rally around me on the battlefield so that this YouTube channel can hit that freaking 2 million sats giveaway mark already. For goodness sake, would you be willing to do that for me, Joe?
Absolutely. There's a lot of value you guys bring to the Bitcoin community, and they need to be following you as well. So I'll absolutely assist with
Let's
that.
go. We're doing
Awesome.
Satoshi's work here. We're orange pilling people every day.
Awesome.
All right. So
That's
Joe,
the way.
you bring our show's scoreboard
Yep.
to 137 who have stacked the sats, along with 9 who have chosen the cash. And I need every member of the Bitcoin Army on my side when those 9 reappear for their Bitcoin Baby update, so that we can help them see this time that they want to choose the Satoshis. Do you want to send our Satillionaires to your YouTube channel, to your Twitter profile, to your your educational teachings on Wednesdays? Like where do you want to send our Satillionaires if they want to spend more time with you?
So the best way to find me is on X. I kind of post everything that I do on there, so that's the best way to like centralize find everything. And I'm just at Cinco Doggos, CINCODOGGOS. You look me up on X, you'll pretty much see everything I'm doing in the Bitcoin, and I also do a lot of 3D printing stuff, so you'll see my 3D printing stuff on there as well. But yeah, that's the best way to find me. My little link tree is on there. It has everything that I do, and yeah, follow me on X and keep track. Like you guys just said, I'm doing a 100,000 sat giveaway this Friday for Halloween / white paper day. So there's that. I give away bit axes about every 2 weeks. I'll give somebody a free bit axe to get them into mining, get them started. So I do a lot of giveaways, and that's my own money, guys. I don't have like a backer that's doing that for me. So I do it because I love mining and I love Bitcoin, and I want more people to do it. So yeah, if you guys can give me a follow out there, that would be great.
Yeah, Joe also doing Satoshi's work.
Yeah, your love of mining totally comes across.
Yeah,
I feel very inspired.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Apes.
All right. So if you're part of the Bitcoin Army, and even if you're not, hit subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit subscribe so you get your chance to win 2 million Satoshis when we hit 10,000 subscribers. We want to do so before Christmas, so help make that possible. There are ways to find out about how you can support us, how you can sponsor us, and how you can sign up to grab your slot in the studio.
Let's go.
To be either virtual or in the studio physically. Both options are available. So thank you so much for spending your time with us. We've loved every minute of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And so Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice, and our guest views are their own.